Good afternoon and welcome to the Day After podcast and our sub-show Pixar Sunday, where on normal days we would be watching and reviewing every Pixar film in chronological order. However, on this, the 22nd consecutive week of doing this, we stopped and watched the third edition of Pixar Shorts. They are incredible by this point.
Yes.
They're very...
most of them.
No, when they wanted... because, let's be really honest, they wanted a third volume, but they didn't have enough shorts that actually accompanied official Pixar films.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they threw in some extras here. There's one complaint, they're very front-loaded. They put all the good ones right at the beginning, but it's okay because they're fantastic.
Right.
They're all very good. Bao was written and directed by Domi Shi, a story of Chinese culture, food, and cute little chibis that came out accompanying The Incredibles 2.
So when we started doing these shorts, this was the short I was waiting for. And I can go ahead and say, I think this is my absolute favorite one. This accompanied what movie?
The Incredibles 2.
The Incredibles 2. And I remember when I saw it, I was just so absolutely blown away, which was doubly effective because Incredibles 2 is very lackluster. So it's rare that a short like this absolutely floors me.
I had a statement in my Italian family that Italians love food. It's what family means, but and that's a really cute thing to say, but every culture has a relationship with food.
Yeah, food is a very inherent part of culture, and you can't separate any culture on Earth without it.
But to really just raise a food as your own, it's like using, I don't want to say magic, but it's using animation and magic to fuse those ideas together. Yeah,
so I think the best part, when Pixar really shines, it's when they tell a universally applicable story in a way that is better told than most people tell that story. You know, on the surface, it's pretty simple. This boy left home, and his mom is having to deal with the fact that her son is making choices that she doesn't know how to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell that as this little Bao child that comes alive, and just this idea of empty nest syndrome and kids growing up, it's such a beautiful way to tell the story.
What's really cool is that there are two, I'll call them shocking moments. The first when she goes to eat the Bao and it screams.
Yeah.
And the second when she eats the child.
Yeah.
And that is a sign that you've really done a lot of emotional and storytelling legwork when the first of those beats just makes you scream, the second one makes you sad.
Yeah. And this isn't just about, it's, you could tell the story using any culture, and to tell it this way, it's just a really interesting choice, because it becomes more than just that story. It becomes this preservation of culture and what cooking food and how that brings us together. I'm sorry I'm spinning my wheels at this point, but it's just so beautifully, wonderfully told.
This is a compliment. It has up energy. At least for the opening short. Very much just a get in.
That's what all shorts do.
It's really emotionally effective. Very good job. 2017's Lou was written and directed by Dave Mullins, and it showed up right before Cars 3. It's about a lost and found...
actual pile of stuff.
That has morphized into a person, and him trying to help this bully realize that being nice is also good.
Yeah, and this came out during the big bullying craze where everybody is... in their schools, they're creating these coalitions to stop bullying, and there's movies out about bullying, and everybody agrees that bullying is horrible, and now we can actually talk about it. But and again, it comes with telling a universally applicable story in a unique way. To have a bully shown that his ways are wrong by the precious things that kids have such attachment to. Literally showing him that as if it's a creature.
Yeah, well, reading the premise of this got me really excited to actually watch it.
Yeah.
The idea that number one, bully, not named, I don't think in the
just JJ.
Oh yeah, JJ's his name. You're right.
Yeah.
He's very I like that animated storytelling has shown that kids can be shitty, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Bullies are never. Bullies in the 80s and 90s used to be mythized as these big, overbearing, I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah, they're all wearing, black t-shirts with skull patterns on them, and
but
they listen to way too much music.
Now they're just dicks, because kids are dicks.
Yeah.
And that's really nice, but it's the idea that, oh my god, Lou is such a smart guy, and he wanted this kid, a better life for this kid, to the point where he starts shrinking.
Yeah, to the point where, like, he's not only showing this kid, he wants to return these things. And again, kids form a natural, not unnatural, but they do form intense attachment to things. Because when you're a kid, the world is giant and scary, and you want familiar things like your teddy bears and your jump rope and your footballs. And yeah, it's to have, and then to have Lou show this bully that give these things back, and it makes people happy, and that's the most important part. And as he gives this stuff back, Lou is like shrinking into non-existence.
And it's just they get a lot of really physical good mileage out of the fact that nothing is keeping this man together.
No.
He's a very jumbled mess of like particles.
Yeah, he's constantly rearranging himself and moving himself.
There's cute little gags where he makes the tic-tac-toe cross, and they're jumping down the slide, and before they get to the emotions of everything, there's a big chase scene. Very well done. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Piper was written and directed in 2016 by Alan Barriaro, and it came out right before Finding Dory in 2017. This is upsettingly realistic.
I wouldn't say upsettingly, but it's definitely photorealistic.
Okay, it is photorealistic, yeah.
This was one of the ones that we really didn't see a lot of these later Pixar films in theaters.
No.
And so, but this was the one I heard the most about.
Yeah,
of the ones I hadn't seen. There's just people who are absolutely totally effing blown away. Like, I thought Good Dinosaur animation was high quality, but this is some next level stuff.
Apparently these birds the models for the birds took 3 years to render, not to render, but like design and make it look good.
Wow.
To prep for our podcast on Finding Dory, I went to the Reddit review page, and 1 out of 3 comments are about how great was that bird short.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I love this, I don't know if I call it energy, but I love this idea that when you're watching this short, you know that it's just one of these animators was walking down the beach and saw these birds doing their thing, and they're like, I can make a really cute story out of that.
And you make that jokey what if, that is 100% what happened.
Yeah.
This is literally half a mile from Pixar Studios.
Right, yeah, and so just this idea that this imagination to be walking down the beach and create something like this is just, yeah, it's really solid. It really shows their talent.
It's out of control, and I would...
It's so fucking cute.
If I had... Oh my god. It's a really good short when we're giving voices to the characters the whole time?
Yes.
That means they've done a really good job animating. Sanjay's Super Team was written and directed by a man named Sanjay Patel based on his childhood relationship with his father. This came out in 2015, right across with The Good Dinosaur.
So, we've talked about sad fetishism before, and not that any of these shorts subscribe to that, but I was really curious as we were watching these shorts, like, can you make one that isn't just super emotionally touching? Like, can you make one that's, like, has really solid action and is very fast-paced? And then I saw this.
I'm glad they've used different styles, because Piper is hyper-realistic. Bao is a really nice, smooth cartoon style that you'll get to see used and again, like moves like Soul. Lou is realistic, even though it's got a fantasy element to it. This is just comic books. Yeah.
This has the comic book aesthetic that Into the Spider-Verse tried to capture as well as it could. But yeah, and it's interesting, and again, with that celebration of culture, that's when so many people try to do that, it feels very ham-fisted and hokey and like, oh, we're including all races and colors of people. Aren't we awesome?
It's not accidental tokenism. And go ahead.
Yeah, and so I like that Pixar doesn't do that. This is a very nice, genuine story from somebody who actually experienced this, and you can tell.
And what works is that there are Indian religious references that I don't want to go into for fear of getting them wrong or whatever.
Yeah,
but
we're not qualified.
It's so pretty, and it's just I've always said this: fucking other countries have cooler religions than us. Damn it! I want that cool shit. It's reminded me of one of those. No, never mind.
Well, you don't think yours is cool because you grew up with it. You're like, it's been driven into your head so much.
Yeah, but just the idea, like, imagine if Jesus was Superman just punching the crap out of somebody. That'd be awesome. But I appreciate, just to bring it back to the emotional center here, I really appreciate that the room that they're in is square to, they've removed a lot of the clutter from the outside set to kind of focus on these two characters, which is really impressive.
What I like about Pixar is that, and why they have such a wide universal appeal, they are great at showing relationships between kids and their parents.
Very good. Riley's First Date was attached to the 2015 DVD and Blu-ray release of Inside Out. I'm kind of glad it's only 4 minutes. Even in Inside Out, when they were doing the credits gags, those were, let's do it and move on, do it and move on. Because this idea, I don't think could sustain a show.
No.
But the idea, these cute ideas that last for 4 minutes, Inside Out, when it's doing the physical helm gags, it has to go really quick and through brevity, which is why you spend a lot of time with joy and sadness in the movie.
Right.
Because this control panel gag, I don't think has a ton of legs.
You have to deliver a lot of things through shorthand when you're doing the control panel segments.
4 minutes, give me some good AC/DC, get the hell out. That dad is so weird.
Yeah.
I love him. Lava was directed by James Ford Murphy, and it came out in 2014 before the premiere of Inside Out.
Yes, this one's universally hated, right?
I would
universally disliked.
Before I watched shorts, I pulled open a list of all the shorts ranked. People didn't like this. I'm like, but it's new. It looks gorgeous, and even all the reviews say, "Oh, before I get to what's bad about it, this does look gorgeous." Now we need to talk about why this doesn't work.
It's too long.
It's way too long. 7 minutes.
It repeats itself way too much. The song is effing annoying. The whole time we were watching, I was like, I could be watching Moana right now.
You could be watching Moana. I've been thinking about Moana a lot, given that its adjacency to Pixar and Disney as a whole. Song shorts have to be brief. 7 minutes is got to be a good song to be 7 minutes, and this doesn't have it because it is a repetitive song. Maybe it's just because while we were filming this week, we watched Makoto Shinkai's Weathering with You.
Yes.
And that is that's such a better story about time and weather. This is really just, in case you didn't get it, it's a cute little fairy tale, but I'm going to tell you it's like how when you find out the national anthem for America used to have like 25 verses or something.
Yeah.
You don't need that whole thing in a 7-minute short.
No. Yeah, too long and the annoying song are the main issue.
Just give me broad strokes, please. We're back to Disney's abandoned Project Cartoons for an episode entitled The Radiator Springs 500 and a Half, letting you know this is the only short for which they actually got Owen Wilson back to voice Lightning McQueen.
Let's talk about the real MVP of this episode. It's that fucking little Guido thing that follows them around doing rim shots. After every joke. Well, that was the best part of the show.
And that is impressive because people want to do a rim shot joke and then riff on the rim shot joke, but the rim shot is so ubiquitous that every time they go back to, waiting for the rim shot, and then they kind of spin that. It doesn't work. Mater is making jokes and trying to lampshade that with the Guido rim shot, and it doesn't quite work. In this one, a bunch of ruffians came to the town and said, "We want to face your founder because he's a pussy." Turns out, because of some fuck up with a really tired left and right gag.
Yeah.
Turns out we went the absolute hardest way possible, and are like, "Whoa! Turns out your founder's awesome. We'll leave." We didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, don't insult the other Stanley Short by roping him into this one.
He doesn't need to be involved.
No.
The Stanley Short was like the rare passable.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's fine. It's a race, and then silly crap happens. They make a pun out of the phrase "exhausted."
So Cars is constantly trying to do that thing that Toy Story is doing and succeeding at, is trying to cover all aspect of what cars do. And all aspects of racing. So, of course, there's NASCAR and that kind of racing, and there's demo derbies, and there's also off-road racing, which is
this.
Which is this, yeah. And it's a sport. People like it. People enjoy it. But it's a thing that exists. Therefore, we have to make a Cars tune about it.
They all feel very flat. I can see why this television series didn't continue. Oh my, let's continue.
Yeah.
Kelsey Mann, written and directed 2013's Party Central, an extension of the Monsters University universe. You may not know about this one because it appeared next to Disney's Muppets Most Wanted.
Oh.
Okay. This is peak Monsters University energy because this can only happen in the Monsters universe.
Yeah, I was so ready for this to suck. I really was, which is a shame because I really like Monsters University. And I was like, the second you start adding stuff to it, like, it's gonna be just weird. So it's not a short so much as it is a series of visual gags.
Yeah, well, the idea that, like, we are going to steal the frat party down the street.
Yeah, using portal door.
Which is a thing that we've established that we have.
Yes.
I don't want to preemptively call this a controversial take, but that's what I think it might be, so just heads up. Part of what I didn't like about Monsters, Inc. is that it was maybe a little too focused on the the humans here.
Yeah.
Where in this case, the humans have gone from just being in it to being the butt of the gag.
Yeah.
So these two doors that they're using to steal the thing are opposite side closets of this random married couple.
Yes.
And every time something goes right through,
somebody wakes up and go, "What the hell was that?" And then they fall back asleep.
And it climaxes in this visual of the mom just flying with like fire and monsters, and you see the setup. He gets the payoff. Oh, it was so funny. Oh
yeah,
my God.
It was, yeah.
Sachka Unseld wrote and directed The Blue Umbrella from 2013.
So when I was a kid walking around cities or like driving through the countryside or whatever, you constantly see like buildings and forms and kind of like kids looking up in clouds and seeing shapes. I always did that with buildings. And whenever we go to like a big city or like a hotel or somewhere, I'd constantly see faces. You know, some faces that are happy, some that are sad, some of them making that weird, pretty much any emoji you could see around you. And I love that they took this idea and expanded it into its own story.
This has a story. It didn't need one by any means.
No.
Because this idea is so abstract that I'm shocked they actually made it.
What's going on with the umbrellas is not what you focus on. What you focus on is all the stuff in the background. Is like, hey, what are these things that you see faces in? We're actually alive.
These happy traffic sign.
Yes, so the happy traffic sign and the shocked house.
The shocked house.
The shocked house is my favorite.
It's really pretty. Oh, they did a really good job. But it's less of a story, more of a really impressive, not tech demo, because it seems like they really have a firm grasp on their tech by this point.
Right, but to try to do something really relatable. And, you know, if you didn't do that as a kid, number one, you have no soul. And number two, I could see where you wouldn't like this short then, because you're like, what in the hell is going on?
Why am I looking at these faces?
But I think most kids did that. And so it's a neat little way to explore that kind of weird universal thing that everybody does.
Brave had its own DVD extra. This is The Legend of Mordu, which better fleshes out the mythology behind 2013's Brave.
So Brave is already too long, and this is just more added to it. Here's my biggest complaint about this one. Visually, it's really nice looking. It's a neat way to take this story. This is sharing information we already know. Every single detail of this story was told in Brave. And why does this exist?
I also don't like, we know that it is the wimpy kid, and I already don't like the three kids.
Yeah.
The head-on, here, let me tell you a story, like we're watching a Choose Your Own Adventure in a DVD special.
Yeah.
That felt weird.
Weird to do it in first person. It was weird. The art style change was interesting, but unnecessary. The whole thing is just unnecessary.
I like that idea, but it like Brave, it was stretched too thin.
Mm-hmm.
DVD extra is exactly where this goes.
Yeah.
Mark Walsh wrote and directed the Toy Story tune Partysaurus Rex, which showed up in 2012 before the 3D theatrical re-release of Finding Nemo. God, I love Toy Story shorts.
I don't know. I was okay with this one. I like the Happy Meal one better.
Okay, the small fry is really good. This is Rex needed a win. God damn it!
Wallace Shawn did.
Wallace Shawn is running out of Goofy movie principal money. I like it. I just like that.
I think it's okay.
So if we're gonna run par for the course, these Toy Story shorts take an aspect of toy culture, fish it out, and then we're done. They did the same thing with the toys. They did the same thing with I don't know, what do your toys do when you go on vacation?
Yeah, that was just bringing Ken back.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know. It's not that I don't like this one. I like the other ones better. The chaotic the chaotic neutral of all of the Bath toys kind of rubs me the wrong way.
It is one long party sequence, and Rex is just whatever about it. But
yeah, I was never a fan of the bumbling idiot stumbling through and like making things better or worse trope.
This is also dunking on Potato Head the entire short.
Yeah, but yeah, the movies already do.
They're cool ideas. There's no story here, but it takes the bath time toys and takes it, fish it, done. Marine Life Interviews is a DVD extra attached to Finding Dory. It is probably 3 minutes, maybe. It's a sequence of interviews with some of the characters from that really, really ingrained in your consciousness movie, Finding Dory.
Did you want to know more about these other characters that you saw in the movie? No? Oh, here you go.
And finally, James Ford Murphy, the writer and director of Lava, is back again to ruin your day with the short Miss Fritter's Racing School, a DVD extra which accompanied Cars 3.
Yeah, for all these DVD extras, you're like, why is this here? Why did you add this to a short compilation?
But
why did you add this to a short compilation that included fucking Piper?
And fucking Lou and goddamn Bao. They're all phenomenal. What are you doing in the second half of this?
Just make a DVD that has the front... You know what? No, I'm not going to give Miss Fritter the dignity to even talk about it.
I am.
I'm going to ask why this disc has all this junk on it.
I am, because I'm a little frustrated, and let me tell you why I'm frustrated. Fix this sad part about your life. I was on Nowhere Fast, and then I joined Miss Fritter's racing school. It feels like a testimonial, which is not the energy that Miss Fritter's mud figure 8 had. That's one of the better no strings attached action scenes in Cars 3.
Right.
Why did it have to have this weird tone to it?
Yeah, it's a nice break from all the confusing emotions that Cars 3 has.
Why tell these weird production jokes like Marine Life Interviews did? You know what? I'm done with Cars.
You're playing with a format. You're playing with, a thing that people are like, oh yeah, I know when I saw those on TV. But it doesn't need to be here. You're patting yourself. Stick with what you know.
But I don't have to experience Cars anything ever again.
That's good.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on the third Pixar short compilation special. I'm sad they're gone.
Yeah, I can't believe that was the last one. But go, what a way to end it if you ignore half the disc.
No, don't worry about it. It's actually split into 3 distinct sections. There's old as dirt, but we understand how important it was.
Mm-hmm.
There's oh my god, what has science done that we are now this photorealistic and amazing, and our writers are fantastic. And even in the middle, you can see them getting good, like, really, really fast.
Yeah, and that disc 2 is interesting because you have it's a transitionary period. You also have them figuring out how much they want to use their properties. And you definitely see the growth from tech demo to fully complete and coherent story, which is really cool.
That was really good. But I am done waxing poetic about shorts. Join us in 1 week where I want to do a science experiment. 1 week from today is 2018's Incredibles 2. I want to tackle this really scientifically because a lot of emotions were coming into people's eyes because this hadn't had a sequel in 14 years.
Yeah, and trust me, it loves to jerk itself off over the fact that it is getting a sequel, even though it hasn't had one for many years.
But I'm excited to cut it open and kind of see what I was so stanky about.